Hi folks. So far we've learned that most Arabic words are a set of three base letters on a pattern. We get the base letters and their meaning from the dictionary, and we get the patterns and the meanings that they give from a science called sarf. The core lessons in sarf are about verb conjugation. You can learn about isms and their patterns later. It's more important that you understand this right now. And last time we got started with verbs by learning how much meaning a single verb has. That one word gives us all 7 aspects of a verb's meaning: gender, plurality, person, voice, tense, enhancements, which is something we don't have in English, and of course the base meaning. So you don't have to say they, masculine, sought, help. No, just one word gives it all to you. Now in this lesson, what we're going to talk about is how that one word gives it all to you. We're going to talk about the structure of Arabic verb conjugation tables. And in the next lesson, we're going to learn the first conjugation table just as an example. Once you have that under your belt, you can zip right through all other conjugation tables, and before you know it, you'll be done sarf. As long as you understand these fundamental principles well. Now remember, these are the meanings all verbs need to convey. The first is the person, and Arabic, like English, has 3 persons. Third, that's like he, she, or they. Second, that's like you. And first, and that's like I or we. The second is gender. Now while English has masculine, feminine, and neutral, Arabic just has masculine and feminine. We use masculine for neutral. And the third is plurality. In English we have singular and plural, but in Arabic we have singular, dual, and plural. Plural being 3 or more. So these 3 aspects tell us something about who did the verb. Was it the person talking, or the person you're talking to, or someone else? Was it he, she, or it? Was he, she, or it masculine or feminine? And was there 1, 2, or more? Now just as an aside, I want to mention that I keep saying did the verb. Okay, he did the verb, she did the verb, as if all verbs were actions that you can do. In Arabic, there are a lot more verbs than there are in English. Arabic has verbs not just for actions, but for states. So like angry. There's a verb that means to become angry, غضب, okay, or to be angry. And that's not an action. So I just thought I should make that clear. Anyways, these 3 aspects of a verb are taken care of in one conjugation table. Every conjugation table has 14 conjugations. We'll explain the number soon. And one of these 14 will be for third person masculine singular, another will be for second person feminine plural, and basically all the combinations of these 3 aspects. Now, we will need separate tables to express voice, active and passive, negation, affirmative or negative, and tense, past or present and future. For example, we would need one entire conjugation table for the active, negative, past tense, and a separate table for the passive, affirmative, future tense, and so on and so forth. Believe it or not, there are nearly 50 conjugation tables in Arabic to reflect both voices, both affirmations, and all the various tenses and subtenses. And each conjugation table will have the exact same structure. Each will reflect person, gender, and plurality. They're all laid out in the same way, so it doesn't matter which conjugation table you're reading, it will always be third person masculine singular, then third person masculine dual, then third person masculine plural, and so on and so forth. So when we take about 50 conjugation tables and multiply by 14 conjugations in each, we get about 700 conjugations in total. But don't worry, once you know 1 or 2 tables, the others are just slight variations. It really is very easy. Okay, you don't have to memorize them separately. One is just going to be a variation on the previous one. So let me give you a small example. The word ضرب is a third person masculine singular conjugation. And the word يضرب is also a third person masculine singular conjugation. But the thing is that ضرب is past and يضرب is present or future. So although the conjugations are the same, the words are from different tables. Now that just leaves enhancements. So for these bad boys, we don't just need separate tables, but entirely separate paradigms. For example, we'd need a whole paradigm for the regular form of a verb, and an entirely separate paradigm for the seeking enhancement. Remember that from the previous lesson? There are a bunch of paradigms, 9 popular ones, including the regular one, and each paradigm will have the exact same conjugation table structure. So you'll have the past tense negative active table, the future tense affirmative passive table, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's like each conjugation table has the same 14 conjugations. The Arabic word is different, okay, but the conjugation is same. It's still third person, masculine, singular, for example. Okay, each table has that structure. Similarly, if you take a step further back, you see that each paradigm has the same conjugation tables. Each paradigm will have a past tense, active, affirmative, a past tense, passive, negative, for example. Okay? So when we take about 10 paradigms and multiply by 700 conjugations, we get about 7,000 conjugations per verb, potentially. Theoretically, the number can actually be much higher, though. Let me give a small example. The conjugation table nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat, etc., is a past tense, active, affirmative table. And the conjugation table istansara, istansara, istansaru, istansarat, etc., is also a past tense, active, affirmative table. If the tables are exactly the same, though, why are the Arabic words different? It's because these two tables are from different paradigms. Here's a small snippet to illustrate this idea. At the top level, you have all the paradigms. Beneath them, you have conjugation tables. And beneath them, you have the individual conjugations. And a single set of 3 base letters may theoretically accept all of these patterns. So now what I want to do for the rest of this lesson is describe how a single conjugation table looks. Remember, they all look the same. Okay, it's the Arabic word in each position that will be different, but the structure of all of them is the same. So I want to look at the structure of a conjugation table, and that will cover all the basics. Learning the different tables and the paradigms will really be a piece of cake, provided you have these basics down. So, each table is first broken out by person. We start with the third person from the top, then we make our way to the second person, and then the first person. Then each person is broken into the genders. We start with the masculine, and then the feminine. And finally, each gender is broken into the pluralities. We start with the singular, then the dual, then the plural. So a conjugation table in Arabic, all conjugation tables, looks like this. Third person masculine singular, third person masculine dual, third person masculine plural. Third person feminine singular, third person feminine dual, third person feminine plural. Second person masculine singular, second person masculine dual, second person masculine plural. Second person feminine singular, second person feminine dual, second person feminine plural. And finally, first person singular and first person plural. And that's 14 conjugations. Now notice that for the first person, we don't have gender distinction, nor do we have a dual. There are good reasons for this, but for now, just remember that the first person only has 2 conjugations. Okay? And there we have 14 conjugations in total. If we use the verb to hit as an example, the English translation would look something like this. He hit, they hit, they hit. She hit, they hit, they hit. You hit, you hit, you hit. You hit, you hit, you hit. I hit, we hit. And I think it's useful when you're starting off to chunk the conjugation tables into 3-3, 3-3, 2. So the masculine third persons, then the feminine third persons. Then the masculine second persons, then feminine second persons, and then the first persons. So 3-3, 3-3, 2. And here we have the Arabic conjugations. Now I'm not showing these to you for you to learn them. I just want you to see them. Notice that the base letters are dad, ra, ba. Okay, these letters have the idea of hitting associated to them. This conjugation table is giving them various patterns in order to turn these letters into verbs. In this particular conjugation table, the active, affirmative, past tense, notice that the patterns are changing the suffix of the verb, in red, in order to conjugate it. Okay, so what the pattern is doing is adding a suffix, apart from giving it the dad, the ra, and the ba, apart from giving those letters the vowels, of course. So remember, all conjugation tables you will learn from now on until you finish sarf will follow this outline. And next time we're going to take a closer look at the past tense affirmative conjugation table, the simplest conjugation table of all, so you know at least one table.